we've taken people, we've gone through our list and identified roughly about a third of the program where everybody is compliant and doing really well. And we've taken those and we put them on a reduced frequency testing protocol. So they don't have to come down quite as often. It's a deviation from best practice, but it's still right now being endorsed by NADCP is to lower the frequency and the volume at the lab to just really what's critical. So it's been a combination of those three things: AWOLs, people that have been sick that we're excusing, and then that we just reduced frequency of testing for people that are compliant.
Oh, that's great. That obviously had an effect. So I'm happy you were able to do that. Heck.
Yeah, it's a. And I think we'll continue this just for a little bit as long as it's working. And of course, if someone has shows us that they're not reliable and that they've reduced frequency testing, we increase their testing frequency. But so far, we've not had just a ton of them fall out of that. So they've it's been a good gamble so far. I'm really pleased. We've done. I really haven't kept you up to date. We've done a lot of work over at the lab. We've kind of taken over the first floor lobby. So you check in on the first floor because they have those high ceilings in the wide hall and that lobby downstairs, and we can manage the flow of people upstairs one at a time. And so we only allow a certain number of people on the fifth floor at a time. And we've got cooperation with the county commissioners, and Jim Tedrow has helped with setting up a check-in station down on the first floor. And so the county commissioner was supposed to learn, I guess, today whether or not we've got access to that extra office. Chad Moody had an office on that first floor. They're not using it. They're going to loan it to us just as kind of a waiting area because it just gives us more space to spread people out.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we do have a no mask, no test policy. However, we've also built a mask building station. So you got to have a mask to test to come in there. We don't want anybody infecting other people. But Kelly Basie in the DA's office actually put together like a little card table area with staplers, rubber bands, paper towels for people, and little instructions on like how to make a mask. And so that way everybody has a mask. So if you're in there and you're, if you're coughing, sneezing, whatever, or you're talking, it's still kind of confined, so you're not getting the spread of, we're just minimizing that. So the no mask, no test policy is obviously for everybody's safety, but in reality, nobody is actually turned away because everybody can build their own mask.
Yeah, I think the county's also going to be giving them on the first floor of both of the buildings starting Monday.
Oh, wow.
I think they got enough of them. And I know we ordered some because I'm not going to allow anybody in my offices that doesn't have a mask on. I mean, obviously, if they're at their desk, I'll let them sit at their desk without one. But any visitor who doesn't have a mask, we're going to give them a mask.
I'm ready.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. The first meeting is Butch's.
I'd just like to ask everybody and also make mention that roll call, everybody needs to do a verbal roll call, and also on every motion, on every item, also do a verbal roll call vote on every item as well.
Is Butch there to chair the meeting?
Butch isn't here, Rick's not here. I think you all have a forum, don't you?
Sharon?
5. I can't see if we have 5 or not.
Well, it depends on who we have in the BOC conference room, or the BOC, because I know there may be some of our members. Miss Burton was saying she was probably going to go over there. So, Kat, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You got,
That's good.
yeah, so could you guys go through who all's in that room and just so we can take roll there? You got Kat Burton. Who else?
Yeah, Will Blake is here and Kat Burton is here in the room.
You don't have to hold it. If you want to mute yourself, you can push it.
And so, Judge, if you are a member and counted, then we have 5 because Kent Bridge is here and Kent Bridge is on the video. And
I'm here.
Bob Rath
Okay,
is on
so
the
we got-
video and
we got Bob.
you are.
Okay.
All right, so we got this.
Is Ken on the first one? That's for the drug court. Is Ken on the community sentencing one too?
I'm,
Yeah,
No,
court
I thought we did
services.
Court services.
that's right.
Okay. Okay, so
Yeah,
we have a quorum.
Yes.
Now, who's vice chair now?
I'm listed on the Court Services Advisory Board as vice chairman. This is Judge
Okay,
Stoner.
Go ahead, Judge. Start it up.
Okay, so I do have the agenda here, so roll call. We've done that. So approval of minutes. Looks like we have the minutes were posted for possible action to approve. Okay, minutes of the January 16th meeting and 3/19 meeting.
Judge Stoner,
Yes.
can you start with number 1? Do you see number 1 on the agenda?
Okay, see here. Yeah, okay. Yep. Discussion and possible action to set date, time, place meeting will reconvene in the event technical difficulties arise in the course of this meeting and cannot be corrected within a maximum of 30 minutes. What would be the standard protocol for that? If we I guess we have a storm blow through and we all lose connection.
It's entirely up to you.
Okay. I would propose that we meet this same time and place tomorrow, next Thursday, or we could reconvene. I guess we could try again at the end of the day or something. Is there any motion on the floor for how we would do that? Well, then I'm going to move that, I guess, in the event that we have technical problems that cause us to terminate the meeting, we would reconvene this meeting at the same time next Thursday.
The
That'd be what
21st.
May 21st at the same time.
Okay.
Is there any objection to that?
No,
Okay. If there's no objection, I guess the motion carries.
Judge, I think you have to call roll on each motion.
We
And I
have
need a
motion
second
Okay.
on that as well.
right now.
I'll second.
Okay. Who did the second? Was that Mr. Ravitz? Will, okay, I will. Thank you, Will. And so we do a roll call on that. So we got Judge Stoner, we've got Will, Ms. Burton. What's your vote on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Bridge?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So that motion carries. Approval of the minutes. So the discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of January 16th and then of March the 19th. Those are posted on the website. It looks like the minutes of the 19th, there was no quorum, and I guess was there minutes there?
That is just no quorum minutes. We have to still do that.
Okay. Can we approve both of these as a batch, or do we have to do them one at a time?
No, it's one item. They're both under number 2.
Okay. So is there a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Okay. Mr. Ravitz, I will second that. And then, Will you, do you vote to approve the minutes?
Yes.
Burton, yes.
Ms.
Bridge.
Birdsey, yes. Mr. Ravitz, Mr. Bridge?
Yes.
Yes, the minutes, approval of minutes, item number 2. Those minutes have been approved and accepted. Thank you. Okay, so discussion and possible action to receive the day reporting center status reports in North Care, January, February, March, and April. Has anybody actually had an opportunity to go through that, or at this point, I would, if I've not had a chance to look at them, and I don't know if anybody else had it, this might be one thing we could table to the next meeting until we have actual lease in front of us, or am I the only one that hasn't looked at them?
I reviewed them briefly online this morning.
Okay. Ms. Burton, Ms. Burton, Mr. Blake.
I haven't had a chance to get them either. How did they come to us?
They were on the
Well-
website.
Yeah, so would it be appropriate at this point just to table this matter, and then when we reconvene at the next, hopefully we could all be together and have those reviewed. I'm assuming no one's there from North Care to summarize these for us.
He sends those to me
Okay.
and I link them to the agenda. They're posted on the website.
Mr. Ravis, do you have an opinion on this?
I'm okay with, moving it to the August to July meeting.
Okay. So, is there any objection to that? Okay, let's go ahead and vote. Do we need to vote on whether or not to continue the item, or can it just be continued since it's not really approved?
It would be to table to the next meeting, but we would need a motion and a second.
Okay, I'm going to move. So move the second. Mr. Blake, are you vote in favor of tabling till the next meeting?
Yes.
Ms. Burton,
Burton's a yes.
Mr. Bridge?
Bridge is a yes.
Okay, so that motion carries. So the Day Reporting Center, North Care reports will be considered at the July meeting. Item number 4 is discussion and possible action to receive the Oklahoma County Court Services Bureau monthly statistics reports. We have the January, February, March, and April stats that are on the website. And do we have anybody present from Court Services today?
Oh, Judge,
No.
here. Did you want me to go over each of those months, or did you want to table them, whatever is convenient for the board?
Well, does anybody have a thought on the best way to do this?
Why don't we just let Grant go over it? He's there.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, Grant, if you don't mind, share what you've got there, and we can get those adopted or approved. So go. Yeah, good.
I'll highlight the main points on each of these months. If you have any questions during that time, feel free to ask. I don't know if you guys have copies in front of you, to follow if you want.
Judge Stoner? Judge
Yes.
Stoner? Hi, this is
Yes.
Rich. Just wanted that I'm finally here, so anyway.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
The meeting at 42 p.m.
Okay. So
Okay.
I'll start with January.
So-
To highlight a few numbers, looks like 67 qualified. We had 59 approved. Throughout the month of January, in pretrial release without condition, supervised 393 with 12 FTAs. On the with conditions portion, 78 were presented to judges. 48 were approved. Throughout that month, there were 289 on the caseload. 12 fell to appear, so total of 107 released. Any questions on January?
No, except who's got the 4-year-old?
Oh, it's my granddaughter from downstairs. Let me close.
Oh, okay, Bob. Thank you. I wasn't sure if we need to add somebody to the quorum here.
Vote.
That was awesome. Okay, thank you, Grant. February?
I'll move on to February. Can you hear me a little better now? Maybe?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so without conditions, 59 qualified, 51 were approved. Throughout that month, we had 413 on the caseload, 7 fell to appear. For with conditions, 73 were presented to judges, 34 were approved throughout that month, 264 were on the caseload with 12 failures to appear. Any February questions? All right, March.
I don't have it.
Sorry. Okay. March, without conditions, 48 qualified, 47 approved. 409 were supervised throughout that month, and 8 failed to appear. With conditions, 78 were presented to the judges, 47 approved, 271 throughout that month supervised, 5 failed to appear. That's highlighting March. I'll go over to April. Let's see, without conditions, 61 qualified, 54 approved, 392 were supervised throughout that month. Obviously, no one had court. With conditions, 81 were presented to judges, 53 approved, and 298 were supervised throughout that month. And that's
Okay.
the format.
All right.
Could I ask Grant a question?
Sure.
Grant, do you still have electronic monitors available? Because I was reading in the paper that in a lot of states they ran out of electronic monitors during this period.
No, we have ankle monitors. We've been in contact with our ankle monitoring company quite a bit. They allot us 30%, right? Yeah, so the amount of people we have on a GPS, they allot us 30% extra to have on hand. So we have plenty on hand. Also, in the event there was ever to be a case where the courts or whoever got together and decided on a large amount of releases that needed an ankle monitor at one time, as long as we knew, they knew that this was coming, they could get us basically as many ankle monitors as needed.
Okay, great.
Our GPS, our ankle monitoring for the last, throughout this time hasn't been interrupted at all.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the, any other question?
So moved.
Second,
So apparently if you get a call in the middle so that you cut you off, so hold on. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Is there any other questions for Grant? Okay, is there a motion
No, but we
to
can't hear
approve the
you as well,
report?
Judge.
You having trouble hearing me?
Yes, now we are.
Sorry about that. So is there, if there's no questions for Grant, is there a motion to approve the monthly reports, January, February, March, and April?
so moved.
And is there a second?
Seconded.
Mr. Ravitch,
Your Honor,
Mr.
we do
Bridge,
have,
and
I had already moved for the acceptance and Mr. Ravitz had seconded my motion. So we do
Okay,
have one
good.
on the table right now.
very good. Miss Burton,
Approved. Yes.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
I think Mr. Bridge was on there seconding, so we can count that as a yes. Judge Stoner is a yes too, so that motion carries. So at this point, it was okay. Mr. Chairman, I'll turn this back over to you. We've gone through item number 4. You pick up with number 5.
Your Honor, if you don't mind, you're just doing a great job of moving right along. Why don't you just go right ahead?
All right. Well, I'll be
What's
happy
this to me messing this up?
Right. So item number 5 is
You don't have to
discussion.
agree with
And-
me.
Right. Well, it's just just trying to make it work. Discussion and possible action to receive Oklahoma County Court Services Judicial Statistics Reports. Was that
Okay, I'll do the same as I did on the last one. We'll start with January. These are basically the same numbers you saw on the last agenda item, other than broken down by activity. So if you see January, same thing, 78 total, 48 approved, so 30 denials for January. February, 73 and 34 approved with 39 denials, broken down. March, 78 with 47 denials, 47 approved, 31 denials, and those are broken down. And April, 81 with 53 approved and 28 denied. I mean, those are broken down as well. So if there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those.
Any questions for Grant? If there's no questions for Grant, is there a motion to approve the minutes? Approve the reports.
So
Motion
moved.
received. Blake.
All right, so I hear a motion and a second in there. I will vote in
Okay.
favor as well. Who else hasn't voted?
Yes, from Bridge.
Yes for Burton?
Yes for Freeman. Yes for Blake.
All right. That motion carries. All right, very good. So it looks like the next item on the issue on the agenda is a new business. Is there any new business? I do have a couple things I want to bring up,
It's
but
board comments is next.
board comments. I must have missed that one. Okay. So is there any board comments? Would this be appropriate for new business or a board comment? I mean, for I guess my questions and comments.
Board, so I would say board comments.
Okay.
for that.
So Grant, my question, we've been trying to figure out how to, in this new time, track people, to be able to monitor people remotely and using technology. And so we've had to partner with the Department of Corrections to help us get access to a couple Scram devices. And we're having to kind of hop through a couple of layers of bureaucracy to get access to these Scram devices. And I'm curious if pretrial services has access to them, or ever considered access to a Scram device. And the Scram device is it's like a GPS monitor, for those you don't know, but also has built-in alcohol monitoring. And a lot of other drug courts and treatment courts use them. A lot of it, they're also very common in the federal system, and DOC uses them quite a bit in their parolees. And but Grant, is that something that your organization has evaluated or considered to have access to?
Currently, we do not use that device. I know there's a local.
Grant, can you speak up just a little bit, please?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Currently, we don't use the Scram device. Anytime that's ever happened with pretrial, they've been referred to CAP. They've been the group that have done it. I'm not sure if they still use the Scram device, but if that's something that this board is interested in starting up, or I'd be more than happy to do it.
Well, we are. I personally, I don't know if I can't obviously speak on behalf of the entire board, but from what I'm seeing, and also the guidance that I'm getting from the National Association of Drug Court Professionals, it is a device that is evidence-based. It's thoroughly researched, very effective. It can be a very effective tool at monitoring people for alcohol use. And we've got to figure out something, because we have a lot of people that would fall into a high-risk category, that have either older in age, have underlying health conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, that puts them in this really high-risk category. And if there was a way that we could monitor their alcohol use, if alcohol is a drug of choice, like in DUI court, for example, if there was a way that we could do that, it would eliminate stress on our system in terms of having people come down to the building to test. We could monitor them more remotely. And so it is something that at least my program that would refer people over to your program would benefit from. And I imagine if I've got the need for it, I would imagine that so does mental health court, and so does some of our veterans diversion and other. So I would like to make a motion that I guess that the leadership at pretrial services just do some basic investigation to is it something they can get access to, what the pricing would be for that. I'm sure they have some kind of DOC has some kind of package arrangements. They know if you use so many, they can give you this kind of a price.
Judge Stoner,
Yes.
you really can't make a motion, I don't think, on board comments. You could have a new item put on the next meeting if you wanted to do that.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. Then that's my question, and that will be, I guess, my motion at the next meeting. And and by the way, I am going to be. I don't know if there's pretrial services. At least my drug court board meeting, I am going to be asking for some kind of an emergency or expedited meeting based on some other crisis issues that we're having to deal with. But that's for a different entity and not necessarily pretrial services. But
Well, I think either any board member could request, not necessarily at a meeting, but request Grant to look into anything that they wanted to and bring them up at the next meeting. So I don't think you'd have to wait to have the meeting. And so I think we could take it as simply a board comment request that we don't need to vote on. And I think, Grant, when you're doing that, you might check. We could make a very good argument that it's COVID-19 related, and we may be able to tap the money that the county has for that. You might want to check with the county about that too.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll certainly do what we're mentioning.
so that kind of dovetails into my next just board comment. Other item, which is, I know court services, we've had several conversations about the software issue and your tracking software and how right now how limited it was in terms of tracking some of the statistical data that we wanted to collect, or at least advised to us to be collecting. And I recall the system really wasn't able to be modified. Our drug court has been looking for alternative, technology alternatives to be able to stay in connection with our people, be able to track their locations and communicate with them by Zoom, text messages, things like that, and to be able to, and we have found some software that we think fits our needs. It's called Connexus Cloud. And so, Grant, I'd like to send that over to you. It's very affordable. It's $250 a month. And there's no commitment to it. You could use it for a couple months, see if you like it. There only is a little bit of a front end charge for just setting everything up like that. But I can follow up with that. But it may be a good solution for you guys. It adds instant connectivity. Like anybody could check in. When they check in, it sends the GPS coordinates of where they are. You can send out mass text to everybody in the program or specific participants, and it's all logged in there. It actually syncs with CRG's drug testing, so you can just open it up. All the drug tests are just right there inside the system automatically. It looks like a very effective tool, and like I said, it's something. I'll send some things over to you to look at and see if it might fit your needs.
I appreciate that, Judge. In the meantime, just so you're aware, and the other members for the last couple months, I've had some good conversations and some online demos and different things looking at the jail tracker and the new software coming at some point. And it appears as though if it goes as planned, fingers crossed, that already has the supervisory roles in it for us to convert to jail tracker, and it'll allow us to do, in essence, what we're doing now and more with a new system. But there's still more questions. There's still more looking into it. But as it sits right now, if it goes as we've been told, it appears as though we'll be able to do everything that we need within jail tracker, and they can customize it just for us on certain reports we may need and the different supervisory whatever. I'm not an IT person. I think you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, we're working on that as well right now.
On the jail tracker, what's just the timeline on that? What are they looking at?
I don't know. I could follow up with, I know Captain Basins helped out quite a bit with that. He's an excellent resource on that. I can always reach out to him and see if there's a timeline, but I haven't been given a timeline.
Basin will be the one to talk to.
Sure.
Under Sheriff, was that your comment there?
Yes.
Okay.
So Judge, I think that the one takeaway or the main takeaway we need to take from this is that we need 2 agenda items on court services agenda for next month. One being about possibility of SCRAM or some type of alcohol monitoring unit. And then the other would be software that would help court services track their people, notify their people, make sure their people are following the rules that have been set out for them. Does everybody agree? And we had
I
talked
agree.
about that in a meeting a couple months ago, a few months ago. But we talked in detail. I thought that was already going to be added as an agenda item, but I guess not. So we need to absolutely make sure that some type of software to more efficiently run and track the people that are being supervised is on the agenda next.
Yes. I agree. And so if my comments is not necessarily limited to also the SCRAM devices, that is one, but then any kind of portable, mobile alcohol, mobile alcohol monitoring. So these types of devices you can blow into and it can track people. We've got a couple of partnerships and we've had some luck with that, but we're sending our people to different kind of corners of the counties to get set up. And there's a company called Lifesaver that actually would pays like a small commission for somebody that does like the setups for them. And so right now we're sending that out to somebody else, but send somebody over to get a Lifesaver device where they do the mobile breath monitoring. It'd be helpful. So thank you, Ms. Burton. Anything else? Any other board comments? And Sharon, are we good with that being? Is that all we have to do to get this as an item on our next board meeting?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I do have one more comment. I just want to apologize to Sharon because I didn't realize you could actually press and open up the minutes from the last meeting. I am technically challenged.
That's
And
okay. You guys are, I normally bring all those reports.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Sharon, if you would, send them a link to the Legistar Insight, and they can get on there and look at all of their agendas and anything that pertains to each agenda.
Okay.
It's a brilliant setup once you realize what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I'm in there right now looking at it. I've got it up where you see all this stuff and learning. Okay.
You guys are
So-
spoiled. I usually bring all the reports to the meetings.
You're
Yes,
spoiled.
well, thank you. My other board comment too is I do want to just express just gratitude for there's a lot of stuff we end up taking for granted, and you realize that a lot of other counties that don't always have access to the same types of resources that we do, and and I do want to just express gratitude to the county, our leadership within the county. I think they've all done a phenomenal job of keeping everything together in a very difficult time. And I've just really been impressed with the professionalism across the board. And I really appreciate everybody's been there for our programs and the community at large. And it's just been, it really has been a pleasure for me to work with really good people. So thank you.
Second that.
I think we all agree as to that.
So if there's no further board comments, is there any new business? It's fine as a matter. not known about or which could not have been previously foreseen prior to the time of the posting of the agenda? Anything new business?
No.
If there is no new business, I will accept a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Do we have to call roll again at the end of this, Sharon? I think some of us say you have to call roll again. Are we good with that?
Yes, please.
We do have to call roll?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
Mr. Freeman, are you there, Chairman?
I am here and I vote yes.
Mr. Ravitz?
Yes.
Ms. Burton?
Yes, Burton.
Mr. Bridge?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
We are adjourned. Thank you. Okay, so I think I'll turn, looks like our next item here is our mental health court board meeting, and our chairman is present. Mr. Ravitz is present, so I'll turn it over to him.
Sharon, am I on the mental health?
Yeah, you're listed as chairman of the mental health board.
Okay. Okay, the chair will call the meeting of the Mental Health Court Advisory Board. Notice of the meeting was properly posted, and I need to make the following statement. One or more members of this meeting will be participating by video or teleconference. Should audio or video capabilities be lost during the meeting, efforts to restore connections will be attempted for a maximum of 30 minutes. If connectivity is unable to be restored, the meeting will reconvene at a date, time, and place certain determined by the board. Now, Sharon, we would just put this
You just-
off. But,
You would just go to item number 1.
okay. Item number 1 is discussion and possible action to set the time, place of the meeting to reconvene if in the event of technical difficulties arise during the course of this meeting. So the chair will entertain a motion to come up with a specific time that we would reconvene if we are not able to get the meeting back within 30 minutes.
So I'll move if we have technical difficulties, we will meet same time, same place, 1 week from today.
I'll
Okay,
second.
motion
Yes, Butch,
made
I'll
by Ms. Burton, seconded by Mr. Blake. Any discussion?
Freeman.
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 Oh, it was Mr. Freeman. It sounded like
I'm
Will. Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I'm new to this county. That's my bad.
Okay, the chair will call, roll call. Mr. Stoner,
Present?
voting yes. Okay, Ms. Burton,
Yes.
Mr.
Present,
Freeman,
yes.
Present, yes.
Mr. Blake,
Present, yes.
Mr. Ravitz, yes. Is that it?
Yes, you can move to item 2.
Okay. Item 2 is discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of 1/1/16/20 and 3/19/20 where there was no quorum. The chair will entertain a motion to approve those minutes. Judge Stoner, did you make that motion?
I would like to. Yeah, I have reviewed the minutes and I would move that they be approved.
Thank you. Could I have a second?
Second. Blake.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Blake. Any discussion? All those in favor say, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Ms. Burton,
Yes, Burton.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes, Freeman.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Judge Stoner,
Yes.
Mr. Ravitz votes yes also. Okay, that was number 2. Number 3 is discussion and possible action to receive the report on current participants presented by Jenny. Is Jenny there?
No,
Did we get any kind of report, Sharon?
No,
Okay, the chair will strike that to be presented at the July meeting. Next item is discussion and possible action to receive the
We
report.
still need a motion and a second, and you want to table this to the next agenda?
it's always on the agenda, so you could just strike it.
I just struck it.
Yeah, that's fine.
We still need a motion and a second and a vote. I'll move to strike it. This is Butch.
second,
Okay,
Burton.
okay. Motion made and second. Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Judge Stoner,
Yes.
and Mr. Ravitch, yes. Motion carries 5-0. Next item is discussion and possible action to receive the report for the mental health court.
I put those all on the back table in that room. And I emailed
Okay.
them out.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm talking about the mental health court report and the budget report, Sharon.
Whatever Donna sent me is what I sent out, and that's what's on the back table.
Okay, that's number 5.
Oh, okay, sorry.
All right. Let me,
Any discussion, actually, the coordinator is supposed to present that report. There's no other report on mental health court. So the chair will entertain a motion to strike this also.
So moved.
Oh, second, Burton.
Okay, any discussion?
no,
Okay,
there's
Mr.
there's no report to accept. So I think there's,
Right. Okay, so you
Yeah.
vote, you're voting yes, Judge Stoner,
yes.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
and Mr. Ravitch votes yes, and I believe the other two have made the motion and seconded. Okay, next item is discussion and
Chairman,
possible
I
action.
believe, Mr. Chairman. This is
Yes.
Butch. We do have the mental health court fund, the stats and the updates, et cetera. And I believe that's what we're approving now, correct?
You mean the budget report?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, that's number 5. That's what we're doing right now.
Okay. Well, we
Number
also
5.
have, what was the other?
You also have what?
I thought we still have another one. All right, press ahead.
Is there a report? Because I don't have it on my agenda. Is there a report regarding the mental health court, the number of participants and whatever, Butch?
No, I am mistaken on that. I did not, let me be sure. No, these are all strictly the financials.
Okay,
Number 3 and 4 being separate was confusing to us. That's what messed us up.
yeah. I
So we get it
understand.
now.
Okay, number 5 is the budget, mental health court budget report, and everyone should have gotten copies of that. Are there any questions? If not, the chair will entertain a motion to approve it.
So moved by Burton.
Second, Blake.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Judge Stoner,
Yes.
and Mr. Ravitch, yes, also. Motion carries 5-0. Last item is discussion and possible action regarding the use of necessary office space for drug court and mental health court. As of 2 days ago, the space on 9 for the district attorney's charging pool has not been finished. So they're still on the first floor. So there's nothing we can do to ask the commissioners until such a time as they're able to move. So I'll leave that as an agenda item for next month again to continue the discussion. So let's just leave it on there. Okay, are there any board comments?
This is
Right.
Burton, and the one thing that I would ask that we add at next mental health court board meeting is a look at possible tracking software to increase the efficiency of supervising mental health court participants, as well as create many more efficiencies in the running of mental health court for not only the judge, but for the coordinator and for all those involved. So I would like to ask that that agenda item be placed.
Sharon, please put it on there. Would you, Kat, mind talking to Jenny about maybe assisting in making a presentation?
That's fine.
Maybe, I mean,
Yeah.
she could make some phone calls and see if the department and other areas are doing with some of the tracking issues.
Yeah,
Great, and I think Judge Stoner needs to be involved because we watched, we had I think it was a 2-hour meeting with this Connexus software that, I mean, it will be fantastic to help all of our treatment courts. And if Jail Tracker ends up working for court services, then fine, but it'll be fantastic for court services too, because they'll be able to text their people to remind them about court and monitor them in so many ways that will help us create a much better mental health court, drug court, DUI court, court services, that court.
yeah.
Okay, the chair is gonna put a committee together chaired by Ms. Burton with Judge Stoner on it and Jenny Houck to hopefully make a presentation at the next meeting with regards to tracking and other issues that they determine helpful to the benefit of the mental health court.
Yeah, and on just kind of piggyback on this particular item, and it's just a question. We are in a situation where time is of the essence because we're a lot of where all this has come to fruition is we are. I'm not going to call it chaos, but it is very, very difficult to kind of monitor everybody and communicate with everybody at the same time, and just pushing out information to the program. I've come out of pocket on my own just to buy a mass texting platform just so I can try to communicate with all of my drug participants at one time. And so I guess the question would be, what would we need to do if just on this one limited item to, I don't know if it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, but to reconvene, but prior to the July meeting, because the sooner that we can get this communication feature is built in, it's at a time where we need to use it because of all the COVID stuff that's going on, and just what is the process for we are in a state of emergency, and this is an emergency type tool that we're looking at, and so I don't think I'm understating that in terms of our need right now to be able to communicate with all of our participants, and right now our probation officers can't even do home visits because they can't leave, and so to be able to check in with, we know where people are, is just would be really extremely helpful. And say,
Judge, I'll tell you what. Why doesn't Sharon contact the board members and see if within 2 weeks we could come up with a date and time to meet with the limited issues that you're suggesting for both drug court and mental health court? We'd have to give notice for a special meeting, and the county clerk's office knows how to do that. As soon as we come up with a date, I think we could do that.
Okay.
And,
And I'll,
and I could, and I'll authorize Sharon, to, once she comes up with a date that everybody can get to, she could set it, and I as chairman can, do it without a vote at a board, because we couldn't do it, because it isn't considered new business.
I see. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You can call a special meeting on any board anytime.
Okay,
You just need 48 hours.
okay, if you could just come up, talk to the, board member, Sharon, to make sure we can get a quorum. I will be available anytime starting Monday, for a meeting, so at any time. So whatever works best for the other board members. Once we get the information, let's put it together.
And that would be just for this board, mental health?
Mental health and
Uh,
drug court, but
And
I can't
drug
do
court.
drug court. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Is there any other new business? Excuse me, is there any other board comments? Is there any new business? Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved by Burton.
Second by Stoner. Freeman.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes. Oh,
Mr.
yes.
Blake,
Yes.
and Mr. Ravitz votes yes. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, I gotta get off of this page. The chair will call the,
Mr. Rabbit, could you give me 1 second while I get this next meeting pulled up?
yes. Just let me know when you're ready.
Thank you.
Hey, Bob, while we're getting this up, Dr. Mehdi Ozimi was by the office just a while ago. Have not seen Mehdi since, I think, probably when he used to be down here at the county.
I'm sorry, say that again, Butch?
Mehdi Ozimi was by the office. Have not seen Mehdi for, geez, probably 15 years. Used to work here.
Yeah, I remember Mehdi real well. What's he do now?
I'm not sure. We talked about everything but what he's doing.
Is he still in Oklahoma though?
Yes, yes.
Ah.
We're good to go whenever you all are.
Okay. Next item, the chair will call the meeting of the drug court, coordinator board into, session. Notice once one or more members of this meeting will be participating by video or teleconference. Should audio or video capabilities be lost during the meeting, efforts to restore connections will be attempted for a maximum of 30 minutes. If connectivity is unable to be restored, the meeting will reconvene at a date, time, and place of certain to be determined by the board. Roll call. Judge Stoner.
I'm present and I approve.
Ms. Burton.
and
Present.
Mr. Freeman.
Present.
Mr. Blake.
Here.
And Mr. Ravitz is here also. Item number 1, discussion and possible action to set date, time, and place. Meeting will reconvene in the event technical difficulties arise during the course of this meeting and cannot be corrected within the maximum of 30 minutes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
Burton moves to, that we would meet same time next week, same place, in case we get technical difficulties and they cannot be resolved within 30 minutes.
Is there a second?
I second Freeman.
Okay. Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Judge Stoner,
Aye.
Mr. Ravitz, yes. Motion carries unanimously. Approval of the minutes, that's number 2. Discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of 1/16/20 and 3/19/20.
So moved by Burton.
Second by Stoner.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
and Mr. Ravitz votes yes. Motion carries unanimously. Next item is discussion and possible action to receive drug court statistical report. Linda Lee, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am.
Please present the report to us, please.
As,
You got to talk in the back for them to hear you, Lindsay.
can you hear me? All right.
Yeah.
As of today, we have 234 total participants in the drug court program. 201 are active. We have 21 currently that are AWOL. We have 6 currently in custody. 3 are serving a 90-day sanction due to the COVID-19. They weren't, DOC was not accepting anyone to go into the IRS program. So we had to amend their sanction from IRS to a 90-day in the county jail. We currently have 1 pending revocation to charges. And we have 4 that are currently sanctioned in DOC that were in DOC before the COVID started. We have 170 total participants in DUI court, with 163 that are active, 4 currently AWOL, 2 are in custody. Of those 2, 1 is serving a 90-day sanction. We also have 1 currently in inpatient and 1 currently in DOC that went before the COVID started. We actually also have 2 individuals who were picked up on ICE prior to 2020 that are kind of stuck in our system. There's no way to move them out. So I'm still working with CMH on what we can do with that. Excuse me. So in 2020, we have actually 41 new pleas that fled in from the 1st of January to the present time, and we have had 40 graduated. And in 2019, we have 136. We had 136. Our public graduation, we did a spring graduation in March, and it was very nicely received, and we had a lot of positive feedback. We've decided that because of all this COVID-19 stuff, we were not able to be in the courtroom, so we couldn't graduate or congratulate our graduates the way that we normally would. So we're going to do a big graduation in the fall, provided that we're allowed to do that. So COVID stuff, we don't know what we're doing. But with that, we'd like to do a big graduation for all those to come back and be publicly recognized. What we're doing right now is just having them do their phase-up speech on our drug court Facebook page so that they can get all the positive support and accolades for their good work during this time. Excuse me. Our training for NADCP was scheduled for May 27th to the 30th. They canceled it in person, but they've changed it to a virtual conference that'll be going on at the same time. And then we have an ODMA Student Justice and Recovery Conference that we don't know when that's going to happen either. That's just one of the TBAs to what happens with all this stuff. On the areas of concern, we're still looking for, we do need a third person to help out with everything. And I've been contacted by OSU OKC on trying to get an intern for the fall of next year. It'd be the 2021 fall. We're just waiting to see what happens with schools, because right now they're not in session either. And our IOU balance is still high. However, I don't have the current count. We have had a lot of individuals who have lost their jobs. We're trying to work with them as well as encouraging them to go out and look for a new job. We're also allowing individuals that are graduating as part of their give back to donate to the IOU fund for someone who truly needs help. If we can help with that. That's all I have.
Anybody have any questions of Linda Lee?
No, I just have one comment though. The report that is online that I'm opening up, this is from September of last year.
I saw
So-
that. I'm not sure why that's there.
Yeah, so I just, if we can approve the report, whatever the report is, it would be not the one that we have uploaded.
Yeah, I
In
don't
here.
believe I received a report. So
You
I'm
did.
not sure.
I was fine. I
What?
didn't get that time. I've been sick. So, I didn't get
Yeah,
that.
I guess I just didn't notice that this was an old report. That's why it's on there. But we can strike that part off the agenda if you want.
I think Linda Lee accurately gave us a report. The fact that that the written report is shown a different month, I don't think it matters, since she gave us the report. If you would, Sharon, since there is a written report, if you would just get that to all the board members, that would be sufficient.
The board members who were here at the county received it, so we followed along on the report dated May 14th, 2020.
Oh, you did? Okay, so then 3 of you have done that. Then the chair will take would accept the motion to accept the report.
So moved by Burton.
Second, Blake.
Any discussion?
So,
Mr.
Stoner.
Freeman,
Aye.
Judge Stoner,
yes, aye.
and Mr. Ravitch, yes. Motion carries. Next item is discussion and possible action regarding use of necessary office space for the drug court and mental health court. Again, there is no available space in the building right now, and we'll keep looking into this, and hopefully at one time we'll be able to get some. I don't think, do I have to vote on that, Sharon?
Say no action.
No action then. Okay. Next item is discussion and possible action to discuss future disposition of drug court cases. Drug court closed cases. Was there a problem with that? Or
I think
I
the
mean-
problem has been that we didn't know where we were going to be able to put them, because we had been, we filled up the space that Rick Warren had let us have part of, and right now I'm looking at a picture that Linda Lee's office is just filling up with boxes because we don't have a place to put closed files right now.
there are no files on, there's no room left on 8.5.
Linda Lee said that there is no room left on 8.5.
Okay. Linda Lee, would you do me a favor? Send me an email. Wait a second. Do you think we Kat, do you think we have a problem if we moved it over to Rick Warren's, that huge storage room that he's got, not room, but his warehouse, if he could give us some space over there? It's
I
got
think
DA
that probably
files.
would- I think that would be great. I mean, that's where the district attorney's files are. That's, I guess you could call our warehouse now. And that's a huge building with a lot of room. If they would be willing to give us a piece of it, I mean, drug court files in comparison to Mr. Warren or Mr. Prater's files are tiny, tiny.
Linda Lee, if you would send me an email, I will see. I have an appointment to see Mr. Warren on Monday. I'll bring that up to him, and I don't think he'll have a problem. And I think we could solve this issue by the next meeting, if the rest of the board is okay with that.
Okay, yes, sir, I'll do that.
This is Butch. I certainly have no problem with that.
Obviously, Burton doesn't.
Blake has no objection.
I'm in favor of it, especially since Mr. Warren's not here to object. So if he didn't like it, he should have been here.
Well, I mean, he gave me some space too, and there's enough space in that warehouse for another 25 years. So I'll talk to him on Monday, and I'll report back at the next meeting.
Remind him he's on this board. He did not object.
And I spoke to him yesterday. He told me he was going to be here. So yeah. Okay. I'll make sure that's done. The chair will just continue that till the next meeting. We have this again, discussion and possible action to receive the report on current AWOL participants. And wasn't that included in the report, Linda Lee?
Yes, it's included in her report on all of the other numbers, and I mean we have that.
So the chair's going to strike that since it's already been approved. Is that okay with the board?
Yes, it seems like we need to merge number 6 with number
Three.
4?
5, 3.
3?
Yeah.
Yes. As a recurring agenda item.
Do you want me to just remove this item completely and that report will just be up in the reports for number 3? Or do you want me to actually add the wording?
I think you can strike it really,
Okay.
because her reports are actually tracking AWOLs now.
Okay, got it.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next item is,
Can we also have a motion and a second on striking that item, please?
Burton moves to
Cheryl.
strike
is there
number
a
6 from the recurring agenda.
is there a second?
Freeman seconds.
Oh. Okay, Mr. Blake,
Yes.
Yes.
Judge Stoner,
Aye.
and Mr. Ravitch, yes. Okay, motion carries unanimously. Last item is discussion and possible action to receive drug court budget report, and you should have a copy of that. Is that correct?
Yes.
I have one.
I've got one. Yes, we've got one. Yes, and I.
Chair, I'll entertain a motion to accept the budget report.
So moved by Burton.
Second, Blake.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Judge Stoner,
Aye.
Mr. Ravitch, yes. Motion carries unanimously. Board comments. Does anybody have any comments?
I do want to make the same comment that we made in mental health court, which is I'd like this board to consider the authorization of even under an emergency or urgent situation to related to software that we've discovered. And by the way, just as a side note, it's the same cloud-based software that the entire state of Georgia uses for their drug court, all cloud-based, meet all the HIPAA requirements, everything. It has supervision, tracking, mass communication, both video and texting. It consolidates all the drug testing. It's ridiculously affordable, $250 a month, and they can just add us on to what they're already doing. So I would like to add that as an agenda item for the next meeting, and I asked that we coordinate with the chairman and Sharon to try to find a time in the coming weeks to call a special meeting just for the evaluation or to receive a presentation on the software and vote on the approval. And I'm not sure exactly where the funding comes from. It's not ridiculously expensive, but it is one of those things that if there is resources out there that's for emergencies, we'd like it to be considered. So if there's something that would need to be done to have the county commissioners involved, if there's part of the decision making of where the expenses get allocated, if we could just make sure I have the right people at the meeting to have it approved, and hopefully if there is available emergency funds or something like this to have it properly considered for that budget.
Butch, is that the county commissioners or is that the budget board?
Well, if that's going to be a budget board, the budget board would have to be the one to appropriate funds such as that. Now, as far
From
as
the
any approval, but approval of any contract claims would have to go to the BOCC.
So the COVID-19 money is approval from the budget board?
Well, the approval process is being finalized right now. Yes, the budget board will see the COVID-19, but that's a very good point, as we do. If it could be a COVID-19, then certainly once the process is set up, then it would need to be entered into it. But eventually that stuff all will end up going to the budget board for discussion, presumably approval, and then of course all claims. And this is with any claims, all claims that subsequently have to be approved by BOCC.
Okay.
So would your recommendation be to contact that budget board to kind of get a penciled in item, at least as something of what we'd be proposing, and then assuming that this board would approve that, then it can be contingent upon their approval or something like that. And I don't. To me, it's one of those things that I think we have to have something. I'm personally paying $80 a month just to be able to text everybody, and so for $250 we can have an entire system that not only texts everybody, but it tracks their exact locations, and they check in and monitor our drug testing, and it would do everything for us. And so it's one of the things I think the time is right for it. But
hold on a second, Judge. Are you saying it's only going to cost us $250
a month?
A month.
Yes, for a license for this software, it's $1,000 for a setup because they come in and set up everything. But they said if we even have multiple courts, so if they're doing mental health court and drug court, they might be able to charge us $1,000 to do 2 courts at one time. But that's all, they can kind of get it done at the same time. And then it's $250 a month for every month that you license licenses cloud's access from them.
Per
So
treatment course. So it would
Treatment
be
court.
$250 for mental health and then $250 for drug. And one of the reasons when we were talking about it for court services, it would be $250 for court services to have all those people that they manage. So, I mean, it's amazingly inexpensive for what it would do. Create reports,
Yes.
create documents, everything.
I'm not sure I know how this would qualify for COVID-19 funding, though.
Well,
I'll tell you, the problem is we can't have people in the courthouse. I mean, right now, I can't have my people in the courthouse that I need to talk to, I need to see. And right now, even as we start back in phase 1, I can't have our normal levels of supervision. My probation officers can't go check on people, see where they are. And this way, we can have people that they push a button and it shows us exactly where they are. If the judge needs to talk to them, I literally send them a text message that gives them a link. They click on the link, their Zoom pops up, my Zoom pops up, and we can have a face-to-face in-court meeting. And that would dramatically lower the traffic coming into the courthouse and allow us to have these face-to-face meetings with the court, digital meetings, video meetings that we can't presently do efficiently. It's the, you just almost have to see the way that it's set up. Right now, people don't even have normal court dates. They don't even know when they're coming back to court. We can't have, so we can send text to everybody, so this is your court date, to remind you exactly when your court date is, when you need to be there. Cause I have 400 people out there that don't even know when their next court date is. And there's no way to communicate with all of them. And because and so they're not good at OSCN, you know? And so these are people with substance abuse disorders, high risk, high need individuals that we just don't have a good conduit to communicate with everybody at the same time, know where everybody is, and be able to have connectivity. And if we're going to move towards a more digital, conferencing type situation, to be able to have the encouragement, support, and accountability that we do in the treatment court setting, but try to lower the number of people that come in the courthouse. This is the really effective tool for that.
Okay, I got it. I understand that now. I would say that I would say yes. I think that would be qualified under there. Of course, understanding that all these types of expenses, if it is a reimbursable or if it is a payable expense, that run through December 30 of this year. But it sounds as if this would be probably such a good thing that then we'll consider that come January. But probably such a good thing we may want to continue it in January.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so that was a budget board. Okay, thank you very much.
Well,
And
Butch, could we spend the money and then we can spend the money and then ask for reimbursement. And if we don't get it, we don't get it, right?
That would be true. That would be true.
Okay, so let's get, Judge, let's put all this together and get it back before the drug court and the mental health court boards right away. I mean, let's have a special meeting whenever you're ready to present it, and let's get it done. I mean,
okay.
if worst comes to worst, we get stuck for $6,000 for a few $1,000s that we wouldn't otherwise have to have.
Right.
I think it. Yeah, we can't afford to wait. What might be another month. We ought to be able to get this done in 2 weeks.
I'm hoping. Okay.
Fantastic.
Just this drug court, I've been quite envious of my other board comment. Just our drug court team has just been amazing. We staff every day except Fridays, and our whole team is active out there, still working with our participants, trying to stay connected to them. Routines and accountability are a big part of recovery, and everybody been thrown off their routines, and we've not been able to have court to have that, but we've managed to put together a functioning model that's been operating virtually, even though it could be really streamlined and improved by some other technical help here. But I just want you guys to know we have been working, and Miss Burton's even been stepping in for Miss Basie, just almost around the clock since this whole thing started. It's been crazy. And Linda Lee sent me the docket this morning at 4:00 in the morning. So when I say that, I'm not exaggerating. We are trying to respond in real time to hundreds of people that have a substance abuse disorder that are struggling, and we've also experienced a lot of stories of resilience too. So that's good.
Great.
That's all I have.
Any other board comments?
None for Burton.
Yeah.
None for Burton.
Oh, Butch, you got any?
No, sir.
Well,
No, sir.
New business in accordance with the Open Meetings Act is new business is defined as any matter not known about which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting. Is there any new business? Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved by Burton.
Second.
Judge Stoner,
Hi.
Mr. Blake,
Yes.
And Mr. Ravitch votes yes also. Motion carries unanimously. You all stay safe. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
y'all.
See y'all.
Used to do like Bob does, and that is whoever makes the motions and seconds it, he's automatic. And because more than once I've made a motion. But that's all right.